Hi, this is Ðean and Myni, and today we're here to talk about self love, not the selfish self love, the self love where you really actually know, care, and love yourself. It's a very difficult position to be in when you're trying to learn this process. So, my good friend and I here today are going to be discussing some of the things that come up with the difference between selfish self love and self love for yourself. Dean, what do you think about that?
The thing is, like for myself, recently, I've been really having to go into um, that kind of a thing because of the fact that I
What
just,
kind of a thing? I need to know what kind of a thing.
well, the self-love deal,
Okay.
um, because I come from a background where I grew up where self-love wasn't even really apparent, to where
Exactly.
um, it wasn't even, in some ways, subconsciously, it wasn't even allowed um,
Hmm.
because it'd make you look too proud or either mainly too proud or something. People always,
Arrogant almost.
right, people trying to, you know, um, put you in your place instead of letting you express yourself emotionally or whatever. So,
Exactly. And see, that's what I want to bring about to the community is understanding the difference between being arrogant and being put in your place and actually respecting yourself as someone that matters also. Now, I know a lot of people think that they need to be exactly perfect when they respond to something from strangers or from different people. So you do feel like you're lacking. So sometimes a form of arrogance comes out instead of the love because we're not quite sure how to handle the situation. How would you respond to that?
yeah, well, firsthand, I just remember being um, just put down negatively in ways to where it made it difficult to express anything because of the fact that, I would, people that I loved would say, well, you need to relax and just, I probably was ADHD or still am, but the thing is that in the 70s, I don't think anybody really knew how to, um, you know, uh, deal with those kind of situations. So they would just do it in their own way, which is, hey, relax, or it's gonna give you a crack.
That's correct. Yes, I remember those days very well as I suffer with ADHD also.
Well, yeah, there you
Um,
go.
so, and that is a struggle with self love because with my particular brand of ADHD, I have procrastination
Okay.
where you want to do something so bad, but you just don't go the next step.
Right.
So, how do you feel about your ADHD versus your self love? Because I know with me, I feel bad about myself because I'm not accomplishing more. So, how would you say it's affecting you?
Um, well, personally, I'm at a different spot in my life now to where I've been really getting into, like we talked about, self-respect and letting go of what um people think about. Um, and that really helps out a lot. The thing is, though, is that I did do that early on in my life when I was younger, but I did it out of anger. And now I'm doing it out of love, as far as knowing that people are people and they're going to think whatever they want to think, and I have no control over that. And so by me letting it go, I can uh, approach it a lot differently than from anger.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you with the anger part versus how you're going about it now, where people are people, what's the biggest change you had to make to be able to notice that your anger was in control?
I think, well, for one, being aware of my triggers, to really be aware of your feelings, like when somebody says something negative to you, how do you feel? Is it making you, I mean, are you allowing yourself to feel angry? And if so, um, I think what comes down next is the fact that, why are they, uh, whatever they're saying is causing you to wanting to feel anger. And so
Correct.
knowing that is the first step to making choices.
Okay. And I hear you on that. Okay, so you're allowing yourself to feel these different emotions, the
Hmm.
anger, the sadness, the guilt, the hurt, the fear. All right. So how hard was it for you to let go of the fear to be able to trust this process?
Oh, now see, if we're going timeline, we're talking a long ass time because, I mean, like I said, just recently I've been accepting the alternative to anger, you know, um,
Which would
so
be,
which would be just embracing the moment and for what it is, and then letting it go.
that's a
So
powerful line.
yeah, and it's funny because it's so simple yet very hard for.
It's very difficult to let go.
Right.
And that line, embracing the moment for what it is and letting it go,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's groundbreaking. You know, if people could understand that concept sometimes, it would save a world of hurt.
True. True.
So when you're embracing the moment and you're saying for what it is, how do you process letting it go? What do people need to understand for the letting it go part?
Well, for myself, I see it as just it comes down to fear and control. And so, you know, um, whatever the fear is that's causing negative feelings for myself that trigger anger, um, being able to just understand that whatever other people are doing or in the environment you can't control, that is a very big indicator to myself that those are the things that we need to let go because they're uncontrollable. And the only thing we can to
Absolutely.
control is our feelings.
Okay. So, as far as your feelings go, when you process an emotion into your 126th fit, how much of that are you putting towards your emotional response versus how much you're putting into, I'm just going to say things like, they're not even thinking about me now. Why am I still thinking about it? Does that make sense?
You mean
Like,
at the moment?
we tend to carry it on in our own self when no one else is even carrying on that conversation. How do you explain how you conquer that? Where you're feeling the extra brunt of the situation? Or does that not happen to you?
It used to.
Sometimes it did.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did you overcome taking it personally and then coming forward into the light that you are now?
Um,
What was that process?
Taking it personally, um, it took many years. Um, and what's funny though is that I had already recognized early on what the problem was. And because I was able to separate my feelings from situations. But I think it was a form of avoidance, which I don't think really addresses the issue.
No,
Right.
I like your comment, feelings from the situation. In that you chose the word avoidance. Now, can you describe what the feelings of a situation that you would avoid would be? Maybe our listeners would like to know where that's coming
Well, sometimes you don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings through anger, um, or you do. You
from.
know,
Right. And what
depends
do you do
on.
when you do? What do you do when you do want to hurt their feelings, but you're insecure to do it? That's a
Uh,
big question in this world.
right. Well, that can get pretty ugly, you know, because it just depends on the level of the interaction as it progresses, because they can go
Okay.
from 0 to 100 in a split second. That was myself like a long time ago, um, from just a
Fire
look
at will.
you know, to bam, and so that from that to now is like a huge difference.
And
So,
what would you say was your first step to getting out of that rough life, that ready to fight, that ready to be all balls to the wall? What was the first step that took you out of that?
I think it was being around people who were um, not like me. um, and I knew it immediately. And so I think subconsciously I gravitated to people like that because um, I knew what I needed. And I think deep down, I did want to change. I just didn't know how. So,
Do you feel like you've taken an active role in building yourself up from the ground up from where you used to be?
wait, what was that?
Do you feel you've built yourself from the ground up? From where you used to be to where you are now, through every trial and tribulation, you've built your empire of where you are now, because that states a lot about you as a person, how you feel about yourself. And
Right.
I know sometimes when you had to relax or you were being put down or whatever and you were struggling against that, the the thing that you were really looking for was yourself.
Right. I think I've rebuilt myself many times
Now,
because,
how do you start that process?
well, a lot of it, like I said, it's awareness, really. When you see that there could be another kind of like version of you, a better version, or something that you wish to be instead of how you are. Because I knew there was something wrong. I mean, I was noticing, all the times that I ended up, in the principal's office or something. It was like, okay, well, this isn't working. And
Right.
I don't, I'm not getting along with anyone because um, of what I'm doing. So, and that followed me into adulthood too. So, um, I guess that part is just being aware of.
So, when did you realize that you are actually in control of only you and your thoughts, beliefs, situations, and everything happen to your own perception of the world? When did you notice that you mattered again?
Oh, as far as what mattered, well, yeah, around the same time, when I started being around people who actually believed in me. And when I saw that, I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, I thought that I was nothing and that I could just be this way and it wouldn't really matter, you know? Um, and I guess when I started hearing that, from other people that, um, you are a good person or whatever, that
Mhm.
that's and the thing is, I didn't accept it too at first because I had already started programming myself to think otherwise.
Exactly. So, a non acceptance.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah. A lot of people are in your situation and they're at the brink of breaking through from that stuckness to enlightenment. What kind of advice would you give them to follow through, to not give up, that it's worth it?
Well, I think everyone should know that they matter because we all matter. Otherwise,
Right.
we still wouldn't be here.
What would you tell the people who really believe they don't?
Um, well, for me, that's kind of a hard one because for myself, the only thing I could express is that I love you and you do, I mean, that's all
Yeah.
I could feel.
Yeah. And until you can realize it yourself, there
Yeah,
really isn't that much hope. It's all an inner belief system.
right.
So, what would you like to offer to the world on your channel as a help in the light of darkness?
I would say to just keep being aware of your feelings and know and just knowing where you're at because that'll tell you what you really want and where you want to go.
And do you believe that we each have a path that we're destined to follow, and that a lot of times some of the grief is meant for us to grow?
Yeah, I do. Um,
And how do you feel about those growth moments?
oh, I think they're wonderful. Um, and
Are they
the funny
painful
thing
at the
too is
same
that
time?
what's that?
Are they painful at the same time?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say
Yeah.
because they're great. But you can learn things through bad situations. So, um,
Hmm.
there's that, right?
Yeah, definitely. What do you want to tell the public today, or what would you call it, our audience today?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for being here and just checking out this channel because we're all we're doing here is really we're just being ourselves and just laying it all out there for, you know, whoever is here. Yeah.
That's a beautiful sentiment. We've been discussing the fact that we want to talk about self love not being selfish. And we went through quite a bit of things today that so many people do feel, you know, and a lot of hurt people out there are hurting others because they're not sure where to start. So, where would you think would be a good start for them to learn to manage their anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt?
Um, it took me
Mini
a long
transformation.
time. Yeah, it took me a long time to get to that point myself. And so like I said, I mean it comes down to I think it comes down to that separation. You know, once you start feeling separated from yourself um, through interactions, um, do you kind of know what I'm getting at? Like as far as like that that
I
negative
kind of
reaction.
understand. So what I think you're saying is that sometimes the interactions that we wind up in, there's a separation between ourselves from that interaction. We just ended up being there. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, I think I'm trying to say that the separation between being true to oneself and the other side, which is self-deceivery, you know, not being real with yourself, not being your authentic self, you know, I mean, when you start to feel that separation, I think that's where it's a trigger.
I do believe you're correct on that because authenticity is what everyone longs to have.
Hmm.
But we do always end up in a situation where we're putting ourselves to the side for others. So, in your opinion, what would be a first step to start acknowledging your own authenticity?
Well, I would say it has to do with knowing what kind of person you really are, or um, how you express yourself, regardless of what other people think of you, you know, and how you see yourself while you're expressing yourself. And if it's agreeable to
So,
you, then I think that's your authentic self.
what would you tell a person who's weighing a decision whether they're worthy or not? Because you know that's a true, very hard battle. Am I worthy? Am I not? How would you respond to that for others to understand?
Yeah, that's pretty hard to do. I mean, without being
Yeah,
emotional,
God. Right. Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, yeah. What do you think? Because I don't. I mean, like I said earlier, all I could tell someone is that, I love you and you matter. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's basically all we can do until someone believes it. However, I do believe that a lot of people are out there struggling and needing just that one person to have faith in them.
right.
Yeah. And so I think that the expression of self is so important. And I really want to reach out and maybe have people comment about things they'd like us to talk about towards self love and improvement and being stuck. I think that would be a good thing to put out to our following to see if they had questions that I might be able to answer for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to sum it up in a nutshell
Right.
because every person feels so differently. We don't
Exactly.
know what the trigger is. We don't know what the raising was. We don't know what their perception is of the world. So we're walking in with a blank slate to
Right.
all these people that are suffering the same things we're suffering.
Right. I'll go ahead and put that in the description on the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you're
Well,
right. I mean, I suppose, uh, what would you say is the beginning of awareness? What
yeah.
causes awareness?
What causes awareness?
Yeah.
When do you finally take that stand? When
Right.
do you finally matter? I remember the day I chose life from abuse. I remember it like the back of my hand. I found out I was pregnant. I wasn't going to get beat again, but why does it have to get to that strong of a point before we learn to love ourselves? What is it in us that's turning us against our own self?
Yeah. I remember doing that early, uh, when I was younger, turning on myself. And I didn't realize that I was doing that.
Mhm.
Because
Exactly. It's
it's like an
very,
inverse way of anger, you know?
it is. And it is an awareness of anger. It
Yeah.
is an awareness within.
Hmm.
It is our awareness of how angry, how sad, how indisposed, how worthless we feel. And
Right.
we bottle all this up into the clogging of our mind because we can only process 126 bits at a time out of 2.3 million databases that are coming into our mind at one time. So if we're just focused on what's wrong with us, when do we start to see the big picture? What has to happen for us to matter again? Is there a stepping stone?
Well, like I said earlier, I think it comes down to if you're asking yourself that question, then I think that's the stepping stone.
I love that answer. If you're asking yourself that question, that's a stepping stone.
And I think if you are asking yourself that question, you've already answered your question.
So, what would be a first step for you once you answer that question and you start with a stepping stone? Just give our listeners something that might be a place they can start.
Well, once you realize that you want something else, look for alternatives. Well, for myself, I mean, I put myself through tons of rabbit holes every day. So, um, there's a lot of alternatives for me.
There really are.
Yeah. I mean, with our phones, we can just look up anything, you know.
We can. We
And
can.
if you want to discuss something with an AI bot, you could do that too, you know.
I've done that before. It was actually very informative. I was quite impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a trip. But I mean, yeah, self-discovery is a process. So it's like art, you can't rush it, it unfolds, it creates itself. And so you just have to, I think it's about self-discovery to the point of allowing the freedom,
Yeah.
art creating itself.
Self self discovery is a project. In art, you can't rush. It creates itself. I
Right.
wrote it down. I
Oh,
write
okay.
everything down.
Right.
That's
Thank you.
exactly what you were talking about. And I love the way that you worded that self discovery is a project and that it's an art you can't rush
Yeah.
and it creates itself. So while we're in our self discovery, there is a difference in us. A lot of people will say it's a confusion, but a confusion means that you know something. You're only confused because you're learning a new way.
Right.
So, in your self discovery as a project and an art that creates itself, how would you pinpoint a discovery point
Um,
where you can, I'm not sure if I said that correctly, where you can define in yourself that moment of realization?
I think, like I said earlier, with that separation, right? As far as when you feel yourself being pulled away from your authentic self, I think that's where the triggers start happening. Like when you start to feel pulled away from who you actually are. And that's what causes, us to feel the fear and the anger, you know.
True.
And I think noticing those feelings is a good starting point, I would say. Because I mean, separating ourselves from unconditional love or, universal consciousness or God for that matter, it's like um that's when I think we put ourselves in our own prison.
And
And
by putting yourself in own prison.
well, just, self-limiting belief type situations to where, you can feel it. And I think that's like that's where you start to feel like, hey, I don't feel right about this situation, I'm starting to get pissed. I mean, have you had situations like that to where,
Oh, I've had many situations like that. No, and that's what I try to do it here at Many Transformations. Just give you the absolute help you need where you're stuck in anger, fear, uh, guilt, hurt, sadness. There's five gestalts that we go through, and a lot of times we're so stuck there that we can't move forward. So, could you give me a little overview for our listeners about how your first session went?
um yeah, it was I believe we talked about this very thing.
We
Um
did.
yeah. And I really enjoyed the how I was able to hit that point of why I wasn't letting some shit go. I mean, I think it was I can't remember. I think it was something about fear. Yeah, it was about
Yeah, you were.
fear. Right. And how
Yes,
like how I was having a hard time letting go of fear even though I knew that I should, you know.
right.
And it was because of the fact that I think during our session, it was because I discovered for myself that I used fear as I gave fear power. And I thought of it as being a useful tool for power, when in actuality it's not that great of a tool for that purpose. Real power comes from within with self-love and self-care, but um, fear and anger is good for to recognize triggers, and then you can use, real power from within, like love
Exactly.
and seeing things for what they are, being able to let things go, and then making better choices instead of out of anger and hurting people and hurting
Right.
yourself, So yeah, yeah, it's funny because I remember during the session it was like um, we were looking at the future and I wasn't allowing myself to see that or allowing myself to let go of fear. And I was like, there's something wrong. I keep it for
Hmm.
something, you know? And then when we went back and worked through it, I discovered, oh shit, yeah, nah, I can let this shit go, man, because I
Yeah,
don't need it anymore,
definitely.
I mean, I figured out because I used it when I was a child, when I was younger, all the way up till
Exactly.
now, even, I still feel it. I had the triggers, and but yet I don't do the same. "Hey, you know what? Fuck you, type thing.
Right. Right.
I
So
mean, I could,
it's
but
like
it's yeah.
when we go through the techniques, there's so much to release that we don't even know that we're holding on to. And isn't it so freeing to release all that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel a million times lighter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, being able to recognize those things, and I think if it wasn't for that session, it would have been hard for me to rediscover what, I needed to um, approach and reapproach, and because for some reason. during our session, I saw it in a different light, and I needed to see it that
Right.
way instead of, all the other angles that I was looking at it. Um, so yeah, that really helped out a lot. So yeah, thank you very much. I mean, um,
No problem.
yeah,
That's
that
what
was
I'm here for.
incredible.
I love this. I love this, and I love that we're doing this video together and raising awareness for others that there is some hope out there where you don't have to relive all your gory moments, that
Right,
you can actually just heal from
right.
above your timeline. And that is
Yeah.
something that is new, I guess, to this age. And I'm just really glad that it had the effect it did on you.
Yeah, well, me too.
It's an open topic that everybody feels.
Yeah. And there's so many variables to that. Like we just talked about just now, how I saw it to be um from one point of view, and it was a block. It became a
Right.
a, a mental, physical, spiritual block. And the thing is that by being open to, like, moving around and looking at the same thing from all different angles, uh,
Correct.
we'll be able to learn from it and heal and move on. Healing
Hmm.
is the some of the most important things so that we can just let things go and move
Definitely.
on, learn and thrive.
And I think we're living in a day and age because I just found out there's a hippie fest going on in the South.
Uh-huh.
We're in the day and age of peace and love now.
Oh,
So I'm going to
okay.
share my symbol. This is my symbol that I created, peace and love.
Beautiful.
But I think we're heading to that. Do you see where people are starting to be a little more kind in the last few, well, actually, just this year, I've noticed a change in demographics and how people are responding. Do you think that we're looking at a new wave for the rest of the 20s in
Um,
a powerful self healing?
yeah. In many different ways, um, and we'll see things progress as time goes on.
Correct.
Because it takes, just
It takes
everyone,
tenacity to do
yeah,
this.
right. Tenacity, yeah.
Hmm.
And, having like-minded individuals, just gather together and and work together to help heal each other. I think that's where it's at. Um,
Exactly.
because transformation it still comes from within, but yet as you heal from the inside out, you begin to emanate and resonate, your own healing, and that affects other people too.
I couldn't have said it better.
Have you have you ever experienced that too? Like how, like when you're having conversations with someone and you could tell, like kind of like that, like that light bulb moment that you see above their head, or that, you could
Oh
tell that
yeah,
they're getting it.
yeah,
Do you have anything of something like that you want to share?
yeah. It's actually pretty neat. I've been doing a lot of this on my own. Um, I have a self heal mode that I go into, and I'll just sit in a quiet room and let all the bad thoughts come in. And then when I allow them to come in, I'm like, okay, well, that's a nuisance. That one's boring. Why am I even worried about that? And it's like a checklist going through all the things that are bothering you,
Right.
and sometimes you just have to check in because they can become overwhelming and they can become the process of your thought. And so a lot of times I find that I need to declutter my mind from everything and just focus on the present moment as it is. Because I can't take this moment back for anything in the world.
Right.
So my
Right.
goal is to live each moment to my 100% excellence because I can't get that moment back. And that's how I respond to that.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Because that's the exact same way I feel, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Because that's what came to my mind about settling the mind.
Okay.
Just an inner hush makes me feel better. I
Right.
turn off the TV. I just dial down. I don't do anything. I just relax and let my brain think the thoughts it's going to think.
Right. Right.
And then as they're thinking them, I negate them or appraise them. And I allow myself to go through the process of growing through the things I've been through.
Right. Right.
And sometimes all you need is an inner hush.
Right. Right. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, for myself, I mean, I need that every day, every
Yeah.
moment because um we're bombarded with so much information
Hmm.
like every second, you know. I mean, with our phones, it's worse. We never had that
It's at
growing
our
up.
fingertips. It's at our fingertips. Anything
Yeah,
we want to know is there.
right.
Any
And
feeling we
it,
have can be adjudicated, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So why do you need people? Why do you need a world around you when you have everything in a phone?
Right. Yeah. The thing is that
You can't get love from a phone.
yeah, there's a missing ingredient there, you know. And
Hmm.
then that's what it is. And it's another separation, you know.
It is. It
Hmm.
is. And I like that word separation. It separates you from your true authentic self.
Right. And that's what
When you get
causes,
lost in scrolling,
right.
you're separated from your through true authentic self
Right.
because the time that you spent that hour of scrolling, you could have done some deep, intense therapy. You could have thought through a process that's back on you. Now, let me also say that some people can only unwind by scrolling.
Right. Right.
So we are all different. There is no one way to cope. But I know people like me, scrolling is exhausting. It's allowing people into my life that I have no business knowing what they're doing.
Right.
That's
Right.
how I feel about scrolling. But to other people, that makes their day, that hour of going through, seeing whether people are dealing with.
Right.
As for me, it exhausts me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to each their own. And that's what I want this show, or however we're going to be doing this and calling it, I want it to amplify that you matter no matter what you're doing.
Exactly.
If you scroll for 15 hours and that's you right now, that's fine. If you're a go get 'em and you're out there 24 hours a day, then that's you. And that's what I'm here for. But I want everyone to know that each and every time we're speaking to a human condition.
Right. Right. Yeah, I like that word, human condition. Yeah. Because there's so many variables to that, you know? I mean, we
There
can be be
really is.
we can be free and we can limit ourselves, you know?
Yeah, we could
And
be in prison.
right, right. Yeah. Little do we know that we can let ourselves out of jail anytime we want because we hold the keys, you know?
We have our own get out of jail free card and we just don't
Exactly.
know.
Right, right. And sometimes it's like it's so funny that, you know, how we can think the prison is so comfortable and the place to be
Yes.
than being ourselves because ourselves is related to pain maybe, you know?
Or scared to take that
Right,
next step
right,
because we're so fearful that someone will not accept our new stance.
right,
You know,
right.
we're so fearful to go that extra mile because what if?
Right.
Like I kind of live on the precupsus of that. I don't know if that's a word, but it came out.
Hey, you
Um,
make it a word.
yeah, I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane for my 50th birthday because
Hey,
I wanted to leave all my past behind me. I wanted a fresh start.
nice.
And my jump let me leave all my stuff over that field as I soared down in victory and had the most perfect jump.
That's incredible.
And things like that cannot be scripted.
No?
There's no way to script the feeling that happens when you finally release. And it's so scary. So, what would be one piece of advice that you could give someone over the scariness of stepping into their
Well, you're talking to a Gemini, so
power? You're talking to a Gemini Cancer cusp.
I know, right? And as far as like jumping into things, um, that's kind of been my thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, yeah, I'm always up for like any type of uh change, you know? Um,
Mhm.
unless I fooled myself into being in a comfortable prison, you know? And that's
That's
when,
true.
right.
Now, how long were you in that comfortable prison?
Oh man. Well, I've been in and out many times.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Do
the
you
thing
like
is,
the out better?
um, well, you know, yeah. Well, I mean, now I do because it's different now, especially when you've learned how to function when you're out. It's kind of like in being from the things I've heard from, you know, when people have been in real prison, you know. Um,
Right, right.
yeah, it's the
Yes. There's
same
a,
type of dynamics. And well,
oh,
once you just
definitely.
yeah, once you get used to being out per se, then
Yeah.
yeah, it gets better and better as time goes
Mhm.
on, you know. You just have to allow yourself that kind of freedom and that kind of change, I suppose, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, all in all, we say today that imprisonment, it's not fun within your own self,
Yeah,
in that there are ways that you can get out of self imprisonment and that I'm here to help.
exactly.
All right, this is Minnie Addison, and we have had a great time here today talking about the ins and outs of the differences in our opinions and thoughts. And we're going to continue on this journey because until everyone I know has self love, or everyone you know has self love, then we're not done because this world should be peace and love. This is Michelle Minnie Addison, and we're here with Inner Hush. Hope to see you next week.